Hey guys, Rob here with McDojoLife. In today's McDojo news, we're going to talk about a martial arts instructor who was finally sentenced 3 years after being busted trying to have sexual contact with a 14-year-old online and with over 100 indecent images on his computer. Let's check out the story. A former karate coach caught with more than 100 indecent images was caught red-handed when he tried to talk to a minor online. Jordan McCarthy-Simmonette was arrested in October 2019 by officers from one of Northumbria Police's most specialist units, the Pedophile Online Investigation Team. Detectives acted after receiving information the 24-year-old had been talking to someone he believed was a 14-year-old male online, but was actually engaging with a registered sex offender who was the subject of a separate ongoing police investigation. When he was arrested, his Newcastle home was also searched and a tablet and mobile phone were seized and taken for examination. Digital investigators soon uncovered 109 Category C images stored on the devices, and McCarthy-Simmonette was charged with attempted sexual communication with a child and possession of indecent images of children. For those who might not know, I'm going to go ahead and explain what Category C, B, and A images are. Category C images are images of erotic posing. Category B images involve non-penetrative sexual activity. And Category A images are images involving penetrative sexual activity, images involving sexual activity with an animal, or sadism. Now, these apply typically in the UK. These are UK laws. Following his arrest, extensive partnership work was carried out between officers and partners from the local authorities to ensure McCarthy-Simmonette was removed from his role as coach and appropriate measures put in place. McCarthy-Simmonette appeared in Newcastle Crown Court on Wednesday, April 20th, where he was sentenced to 10 months imprisonment and suspended for 2 years after previously pleading guilty. He was also given a sexual harm prevention order for 7 years and placed on the sex offenders registry for 10 years. Speaking after the sentencing, Detective Constable Rob Smolt from the Pedophile Online Investigation Team said, "As a force, we are committed to keeping children and young people safe from harmful and dangerous online predators." In this case, McCarthy-Simmonette believed he was engaging with a 14-year-old boy, and unfazed by this, that behavior is completely unacceptable. Thanks to a thorough investigation, a solid case was presented before the courts, and McCarthy-Simmonette was left with little opportunity to deny his actions, and I am pleased he has admitted his guilt. We know cases like this can cause concern in our communities, but I want to reassure people that we are constantly working with our partners in the local authorities and across a wide range of services to ensure the right measures and appropriate safeguards are in place to keep children and young people safe from harm. We will continue to work with schools, youth groups, and parents to highlight the dangers which can be present across different platforms, and would encourage adults to keep talking to their children about who they engage with and to keep promoting the use of privacy settings. Let's unpack that. A 24-year-old martial arts instructor was arrested because he was caught speaking with another pedophile who had a case against him. Police were looking into that investigation, monitoring that guy, and then they find out that that guy's posing as a 14-year-old kid for some reason. I don't know why pedophiles do what they do. And then all of a sudden they find out that this martial arts instructor was talking to this pedophile because they just happen to be monitoring this other guy. So they look into that kid. They find out this kid has over 109 images on his computer that are sexually explicit images of children. All while at that time, that martial arts instructor was still teaching. He was still involved with teaching martial arts around children. Now, the end of that article said something that made me want to talk a little bit more about this, because at the end of that article, it talked about asking parents to monitor their children's activity online, who they're speaking with, and their privacy settings. I'm going to go a step further because this is a martial arts related channel, and I'm going to say that parents should stop just dropping their kids off at martial arts schools and driving away. The average martial artist, that means the majority of people who actually go to a martial arts program between the ages of 3 all the way to 175 fucking years old, those people only last about a year, year and a half. That's right. Most people don't last more than a year in any martial art that they do, regardless of their age. So what does that tell us? That tells us the majority of parents who are just dropping their kids off and leaving and allowing their child to be left alone in a martial arts facility by themselves don't know the instructor more than a year. They're just hoping things go well. That means that if you're one of those parents that's just dropping off your kid and you give two shits less about your child's well-being in that facility, I am saying you are the problem. You are one of the people that is an issue with things like this. You're allowing your child to be around a complete stranger for an hour or more at a time without any supervision whatsoever from you, the parent. Every parent has a different level of what they expect their child to be treated like. Not everybody is going to treat your child the way you would like them to. So if you just drop your kid off and assume honor and integrity and respect, and that this complete stranger who just happens to have a black piece of cloth around their waist is some type of honorable human being, there's something wrong with you. Do better. Not only by being there and actually interacting and watching a class and staying there, not only is that something that's beneficial to your child's safety and overall health, it shows you care. It shows you give a damn. Hey, I get it. If you're a busy parent, you have a lot going on, you need to send in a proxy, like maybe a cousin, an uncle, you have somebody else that's there to watch the kid. That's understandable, but at least you have someone there. I do these stories all the time, way too often, and some of that is just so easy to fix by simply being there. So let's go back to the story. Let's imagine you're a parent who dropped off your child at this guy's martial arts facility. You drop your kids off, you leave for hours at a time, and then over the course of months, you continue to do that. Then all of a sudden, this story comes out about him being a convicted pedophile. Would that not eat away at you every day? Would that not bother you to think that you did this and put your child in harm's way just simply because you didn't want to be there? That's sad. People ask me all the time, they go, hey, Rob, what are some things that you can do to make sure that you're in a good martial arts program? And I'm going to give you 3 right now. First and foremost, make sure that anybody who is staff or an employee of that martial arts facility has a local and federal background check. That is something that every martial arts business should do and should require of every employee that they ever staff in the history of ever, to keep out people like that guy. Because now he's convicted. And so now, since he's convicted and his job previously was martial arts instructor, I guarantee you that he's going to go back and try to find another job in the martial arts industry. But Rob, that's impossible. There's no way that he'd ever be allowed back into a martial arts school. What about David Arnbeck? David Arnbeck runs 3 martial arts schools, and he was busted for molesting a 15-year-old girl in his house. He pled guilty, but because of that guilty plea, he was not put on a sex offender registry. So don't think that it's crazy to think that somebody could previously have done it and then go right back in the fold and do it again. The next thing you need to look for is make sure your instructor has CPR and first aid certification. This is extremely simple. It's an easy class to get a hold of. It's a very easy class to set up and get done, and it doesn't require a lot of effort on anyone's part who has the certification to re-up down the road. Martial arts in itself is a very physical thing. It involves punching and kicking and choking and throwing. And in order for a good instructor to make sure that those children are safe, CPR and first aid should be mandatory from any martial arts instructor, period. Remember the kid in Taiwan who was thrown so many times that he wound up going into a coma and eventually dying? I guarantee you that instructor had absolutely no CPR first aid certification, because it was written all over that kid that he had a major concussion. He was throwing up, he was dizzy, he was nauseous, and the instructor ignored it and said, tough love, keep going, it's gonna make you tough. And then he killed the kid. CPR, first aid required. The last one, how do you feel about the instructor? If you go into the class, drop off the kid and leave, and you only met this person one time, that is not enough time to really get a feel for how they teach, what they do, how they interact with people. That is a one-time thing that you did once. So, by continually showing up to these classes, you can monitor and watch and see if this person has a little screw loose. See if they snap on the kids from time to time. See if they make you uncomfortable with the way they touch and interact with your kids. Watch it for yourself. But the only way you're going to be able to do that is you have to be in the class and watch your kid. Obviously, I'm passionate about what I do. I hate seeing kids get taken advantage of. I absolutely hate seeing how many martial artists are pedophiles. It never fails. And it's so sad to me that every week I go to do a McDojo news story, and every week the first thing that pops up is a pedophile. And the hard part for me is that right now, like, what you could think is, well, why don't you do a different story? Well, that means I don't do this story. That means this person's face doesn't get seen. Mike Tyson literally just got into a fight on a plane the other day because somebody was harassing him. That story right now is blowing up. It's a big deal and it probably get me more views. But this is the fucking face that people need to see. This is the problem. What I care about is this guy's face getting seen and more people knowing that this person exists. He's only going to be in jail for a short period of time and then he's going to be out very quickly. So keep in mind, this is the person that we should be looking for. These are the type of people we should be looking out for. I'm super interested to hear what you have to say in the comment sections below. As always, I truly appreciate your continued support of the page. Thank you all for the likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, and all that other crap people online tell you to do. Keep the martial arts legit.
And I'm pretty sure the boy is a sex offender. I cut them kick him out the Boy Scouts of America. But my baby now go rap with Foxy, now go in the truth. She said me love Paul and I'm leaving you. And I'm the one for kick Paul and get me down, baby, back. Some stars study with the sensei and contract. And I call himself Sensei.